All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be checking out Viserai again. And don't worry, we are going to be on Talishar today. We're going to be going over some games on what I call the simulator, but it's going to be on Talishar is what it's technically called. This will work as a comprehensive deep dive, comprehensive deck builder's guide for Viserai Runeblood. This is, of course, in preparation for Rosetta. This will be good for newer players who are trying to get started on Viserai. And I mean, when I say newer players, I mean newer players, guys. Like, the first build we're going to be looking at today is a $50 budget build that can compete. We will go over that. Bear with me, okay? From there, we're going to head over to the sim and show you. I'm going to show you the deck list first, and then I'm going to show you an example on Talishar and show you that the deck does have a chance. It does stand a chance, even being under $100. I mean, it's almost under $50. All right. From there, we will hop back onto February, and I'll show you the 2.0 version of what we saw, or of what we're going to go over first. That will be a $200 deck list. And then that will go into part 3 where I show you that deck in action, so to speak. That one's going to be versus Azalea. The first game will be versus Prism with a $50 deck list. The second game will be against Azalea with the $200 deck list. And then we will finish off checking out the third version, which is not technically a version. I'll just be showing you guys where to go from here if you really like Viserai and you start working through it. Like I said, I want this to be a total Viserai guide. Now, with that in mind, for the newer players, of course, you're right where you need to be. For the older, more veteran players, I need your help too, guys. If I miss something, if I mess something up, tell me down in the comment section below. If there's a card you recommend, please put it in the comment section, immediately. Help me out, guys. Help everybody out. Help out everybody in the community. Okay? So yeah, then we'll end off by looking at some decks that are actually, ProQuest and battle-hardened level decks that have gotten first and second place. We'll look at those towards the end of the video. All right, guys? So you know what we're getting into. I'll have everything timestamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that down in the comment section. Let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. I'm excited. Okay, first things first, I have gone over Viserai. I will post that video in the comment section below as well for the absolute total beginner-friendly version of, like, what is a Rune Blade, okay? We're not covering that in today's video. Pause and read what the hero does if you don't know what Viserai already does. The first version we're going to look at today, though, check this out, guys. We're talking, notice at the very top right corner here, guys, this is a $50 budget list. So if you're a newer player, people have heard me complain about the price of this game, and I want people to understand that I'm not saying you cannot win with a cheaper list or you have to have all these super expensive cards. I've never said that. Just understand that right now. I'm just saying that it would be nice if more players could afford the more top-end cards. That's all I was trying to say. Now, with that in mind, check this out, guys. Today, I'm running a $50 list of Viserai on Talishar. Now, I have pre-recorded these games so I can talk over them and like break them down, pause them, and elaborate. But check this out, guys. Okay, let's go over the equipment first, then we'll go down to the deck. So first up is the chest piece, Aether Ironweave. Excuse me. This is very basic. It's a nice chest piece. Destroy it, and you can gain two resources, but you can only activate it if you played an attack and a non-attack action card this turn. It has Battle Worn, so you can get away with, blocking with it and all that good stuff. Crown of Dichotomy, just an extremely cheap entry-level piece that has Arcane Barrier, which is good. That will help us. And this is going to allow us to put target Runeblade action cards, we can pay 1 and destroy this to put a target Runeblade attack action card and a target Runeblade non-attack action card from our graveyard on the top of our deck in any order. And then, like I said, it has Arcane Barrier 1. This is nice for setting up combos later in the game, potentially. It's not the greatest headpiece, to be honest. It's kind of hard to find time to set it up, but every now and then it does come in pretty handy. For the weapon, I'm not going to go through every single thing like this, guys. Don't worry, but I do want to go over the weapon slots, like all the equipment and weapon slots real quick, and then we'll breeze through the rest, okay? Nebula Blade. This is it's better than it looks, guys. When you first see it, it's like, oh, pay 2 to deal 1 damage. No. Read it closely. First of all, if Nebula Blade hits, you get to create a Rune Chant token, okay? And if you have played a non-attack action card this turn, it gets +3 until in a turn. So it's really a pay 2, deal 4, and potentially 5 if it hits, right? Like it's 5 points worth of value, right? So 4 for physical, and then you get a rune chant for next turn. And that rune chant for next turn actually comes in very, very handy with this reduced to rune chant. Okay, Sutcliffe's Suede Hides. This card right here, guys, it is an attack reaction legs. I wish it had Battle Worn, just like the... I really wish it had Battle Worn, like the Aether Ironweave here. And if it had like one thing to defend with instead of 0. That would have been nice, but hey, it is what it is. But check out what it does. It's an attack reaction with pay 1, destroy these, and target attack action card gains go again. That comes in more handy than you might think. But you can only activate this if you've played a non-attack action card this turn. Okay, and last but not least is the Vexing Quill Hand. This card is pure value for what we're trying to do. Number 1, it also has Arcane Barrier. So we have built in 2 Arcane Barrier against anything that is trying to do that kind of damage to us. But yeah, guys, this card is extremely, extremely powerful whenever we have these really big, go-wide, pop-off turns, like when we drop down a, where's Mordred Tide? We drop a Mordred Tide, all of a sudden we're making 3 rune chants from that thing. You know what I mean? It's just, it's very solid. Okay, so now I'm going to blast through the deck list. I'm not going to go through every card. I will click on each card, and you can pause to read it if you don't know what it does, but I'm going to go through each one now. Gorganian Tome, I will explain because it's very important. Understand how Viserai works, guys. All you need is a non-attack action card to start your turn, and then you can start making rune chant after rune chant after rune chant, start pumping out rune chants, okay? Gorganian Tome is an absolutely incredible turn starter because look what it does, guys. You basically get to draw a card and go again. Okay, so it's like, okay, now your turn has started with your Gorganian Tome where you get to, you know, you've started your non-attack actions. Now you can do nothing but Rune Blade actions to start generating rune chant after rune chant after rune chant. Very, very strong. Okay, we're running 6 Amplify the Arknights, 3 reds, 3 blues. We're running all 9 Mauvrion Skies. For the budget version, this is very, very important. This card is, this is how we get away with playing budget, I believe, at least in my personal opinion. This card is extremely powerful. 3 Mordred Tides, you have to get this card. It just, if you're going to play Rune Blade, especially Viserai, this is pretty much a must-buy unless you know of some special version that I'm not quite aware of. Whoops, my microphone's kind of far away. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. There we go. Okay, we're running 1 Rattlebones. This is getting into the more expensive territory, but it is good to buy one and start experimenting as a newer player with what this does. It also opens up some pretty interesting lines for later in the game. Reduced to Rune Chant. This is our version of Sink Below, but don't worry, we're running Sink Below as well. But this card is like our version of Sink Below, especially if you have a Rune Chant already in play. It's free. It's a free 0 for 4 defense reaction that creates a Rune Chant. This card's incredible. 1 Rune Flash. Again, this is one of those cards where it's like, it's nice to have access to if you need it. Okay, like if you just have to search something up with something like Become the Arknight, it's at least a nice target to hit with that. We're running 6 Runeblood Incantations, 3 red, 3 yellow. I just want something to start my turn off with that has Go Again, that is a non-attack action, so that way I can chain it together with something like Shrill Skullform to deal tons and tons of damage. Shrill Skullform, this is a 6 of, 3 reds, 3 blues. Sink Below. By the way, I will say this. Yes, you can run the blue Runeblood Incantation if you want to, but I just don't think it's worth it. The lowest I would go with this card is the yellow version. That's just me personally, and I probably would even drop one of these yellows and go up something else somewhere in the deck, even if it's another Rune Flash. That's just me, though. Okay, next up we got Sink Belows. We got 3 of these. This card's just incredible. Sonata Arcanics. You're going to want all 3 of these. It's just a good card. 6 Spellblade Assaults. It's the bread and butter of Spellblade. Now, because this is a budget list, I'm not running Swarming Gloomveils, right? Well, check it out. For now, we're just going to have to deal with a Spellblade Strike. No, it is not the same. Never said it was. But it is a 1-cost deal 5, essentially, with a 3 block, and it's a Runeblade action, attack action. I say 1 for 5 because it's 1 that deals 4, but you get to create a Rune Chant. Okay, so that is very, very important. 3 Become the Arknights. If you're going to run Viserai, guys, this is a must-have in my personal opinion. Again, unless you find a very specific list, it is what it is. Vexing Malice. This is one of the best game closers out there, guys. Why do I say that? So anyone who plays against a Runeblade will typically run something like this, Arcane Barrier 1, and that's it. That's all they'll run is Arcane Barrier 1. So if you get them down to 1 life and then you bust out a Vexing Malice, they're going to be a 1 sad camper, right? Unless they have some way to mitigate damage other ways. But otherwise, they are going to be 1 sad, unhappy camper because this deals 2 arcane damage. So if they only have 1 arcane barrier, they can only block 1 from this effect here, and then they're gone. Okay, so really good stuff. Okay, guys, that's the list. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not be afraid to post it in the comments section below. Now, let's go ahead and check out this game. So first up, we have a game of, let me blow this up. Let me shrink my head down. Yeah, y'all don't need to see my head, really. We'll make it like that so you can see the library and all that. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into this game. This was me, I believe, a day or 2 ago on Talishar, playing Viserai, playing the $50 list we just looked at. This is a literal budget deck list, guys. Look at my armor. Okay, look at my equipment. Look at my hand. This is an actual budget list going against this fully decked out, fully built out Prism. And understand this, guys. Excuse me. Yes, I do have nearly 20 years of TCG experience, but I'm like a year old in this game. Okay, so like I'm not trying, let me pause this. I'm already starting to talk. I'm starting to yap. This is not me trying to show like, man, look how good I am. It has nothing to do with that, guys. I'm just trying to show y'all that this list can compete with the best of them. Okay, this Viserai list can compete with a bunch of different decks. Yes, it still has its counters. Okay, I get it. Hey, this is a TCG, right? All right, so now let's hop into this game now. So Prism is going to start off going first here, unfortunately. I mean, it's not unfortunate, but it is what it is. And they're going to go ahead and swing in for 7 with Herald of Triumph. I use my Aether Ironweave just immediately. And I know that might seem crazy to some people, but remember, they do get 1 more attack after this if they have the cards in hand. They ended up not having the cards in hand, and I'm okay with that. I think they do... They go back with it. So hang on. I do the exact same thing. Nothing changes on my end. I give them 2 cards right here. Give them Spellblade Strike, give them that, block out here, pass. Let's see what they do. I think they forgot to Arsenal is what happened. I'm not sure. Okay, there they go. They Arsenal. Now, check this out, guys. I'm sorry that this is, excuse me, that the media player is in the way of my hand, but check out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to Gorganian Tome to start my turn off, and now my Viserai action, or my Viserai trigger, is active. Every single Rune Blade card that I play after this will give me a Rune Chant. That is extremely important. Okay, here we go. Gorganian Tome. I draw into a Amplify the Arcanite. I do a Sonata Arcanix, and I think I paid, I don't think I paid 0. Now I'm going to toss one of these cards. I'm just kind of going to the races here, guys. I do have it on 2x speed, bear with me. I go ahead and let me back up just a little bit so we can talk about what just happened there. I'm going to become the Arcanite, trashing a attack action. Now I have to get a Rune Blade non-attack action. Okay, and that's what's going to happen here. Let me go ahead and hit play. Sorry, guys. There it goes. So I go ahead and trash one of these. I don't know if I trashed the right one. That probably was not the best call. I'm going to grab a Mauvrion. We're going to throw Mauvrion on here. I'm coming in with a Amplify the Arcanite for 9 right off the bat, guys. Coming in for 9 off the bat. Coming in for 6 more. They give me 2 blocks there. And now I'm just going to... I really want to just Arsenal this. But it's like, you know what? Let me smash in for 4 here. Keep the pressure on. Get a Rune Blade, or excuse me, get a Rune Chant if this hits, and we'll be off to the races. I'm still learning Talishar, guys. I had not hit the spacebar yet to go to the next turn, or to pass priority. Oops, excuse me, I'm spitting everywhere. I had not used it yet I'm still figuring out Talishar. Please bear with me, guys. So the Prism player, he just goes ahead and arsenals, or... excuse me, he plays out a Pierce Reality, passes the turn back, because they had to fully block out, guys, and I still have them down to 23 life. So this has been a very dynamic, explosive start for us. Okay, here we go. I've got Mordred Tide in hand, but I don't have a great play here, honestly, guys. I don't have any other kind of follow-up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack into the, I think I attacked into the Pierce Reality. Yep, and I'm just going to Arsenal Mordred Tide, and I'm going to pass turn, and I'm going to go like this. That required quite a bit of restraint, as you might expect, guys. That does require some restraint, but look at this. They're going to give me a whole nother turn to set things up here. They're playing out an Arclight Sentinel. I'm not in any rush, right, guys? So I think right here I might go Mauvrion, Rattlebones, and start swinging like that to start popping them with Rune Chants. Because remember, even though... I got to pause. I do apologize, guys. Bear with me. Even though they have Arclight Sentinel on the board, I can still hit them in the face with my Rune Chants. Okay, guys? So that is something to take into consideration here. That's what I'm considering right now. So I go ahead and I think, I'm not sure what I did there. Oh, okay. I played out that, excuse me, I play out the Mauvrion just to generate a rune chant. I come in for 1. It's fine. Or I came in for whatever it was. It just hit the Arclight, the Arclight Sentinel. I was saying, what's that card called? The Arclight Sentinel. Sorry, guys. I am still learning a lot about this game, so if I mess up the name of a card, please help me out in the comment section below. I ask that you just please not be rude. I am trying to learn, as fast as I can. Okay, so right now we're waiting for... So I just got hit with a Herald of Erudition, and they just basically went to town drawing cards like crazy. They're playing out Soraya. They're playing out Figment of Protection. I'm like, yep, go ahead, swing, smash away. I don't care. Just come on in for everything. I'm taking all these hits. Here we go. They play out a Merciful Retribution. It is what it is. Could I have played that a little bit better? Probably. But, oh well, here's how we went with it, right, guys? Here's how we went with it. I'm just trying to have fun and play this game. So I go, you know what? Here we go. Sonata Arcanics. Let's trigger this turn off right. I would rather do the Rune Blood Incantation first. That's okay. We're going to play out a Mordred Tide to start, and I'm paying 4 for that, so I'm getting 5 different cards as an option, and I get 2 hits. That's all we could get. That was perfect. Shrill Skullform, Spellblade Assault. I've got 3 rune chants coming in now. I've still got a Rune Blood Incantation. That's going to be what's coming up next. Okay, Source Merciful Retribution. Because I popped a, because I popped a Spectral Shield, Merciful Retribution popped me for 1 damage back. Oh, well, I've determined we're going to the races, my guys. We are going off to the races. I've got 5 rune chants. I'm coming in for 7 plus 4 at the Prism's face. We're going dome here. They're down to 10. They don't want to give me cards from hand. I don't know why, because I'm taking every hit, guys. Hey, if I'm going to average about 20 damage a turn like that, now it was like 13, 14 damage or whatever it was. Around 13 or 14, yeah. So if I'm going to average that much a turn and I've got my Rune Blood Incantations going, I'm taking it. I'm taking it, guys. I don't care. All right, what happens next? They're coming at me with Herald after Herald after Herald. They're filling the board with these things. But here's the thing. I don't care about these 4 life angels. Because when I attack, my rune chants are going through first. So he has to pay me. He has to pay the toll. You know what I mean? He's got to pay the toll of the rune chants, or else it pops his angel. He has to protect with ward. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, man. Okay, I take it. Sure, pass. Take all the ones you want, because you're not going to do as much damage as me when I can nickel and dime you and take every single one of your angels off the board and off your Spectral Shields easily. I'm at 19, he's at 10. I start this turn off by throwing down a Rune Blood Incantation, which turns on my Viserai effect. I'm coming in with a Rune Flash 4/4 plus 3. And here we go. He takes the 3. Then 4 is coming in. Okay, I still have 2 for the turn, and I can swing Nebula Blade here. What just happened? Did I went ahead and went in with a Shrill Skullform. Looking back, I wish I had just... pause. I wish I had just played... Hang on. I completely blundered that. My apologies, guys. We have to go backwards. I'm talking too fast, trying to keep up with the 2x speed. I wish I had just swung with my Nebula Blade. Hear me out. Yes, it is true that the Shrill Skullform will deal an extra point of damage, and my opponent is getting low. Every single point of damage does matter right now. However, coming in for 4 is still a breakpoint, and if it hits, I get another rune chance, so it actually balances out in the end, and then I can arsenal my Shrill Skullform and go next turn. Okay, let's see what happens here. Whoops, sorry guys, it froze up. There we go. Okay, so here we go. I go ahead and swing. Everything's going at face. Shrill's coming in for 5, and I had 2 arcane chance, rune chance on top of that. They're down to 2, and I've got a hand here. Now I do have a hand. Okay, they're going to swing for 4. I can reduce the rune chant, no problem here. Sure, I'll make another rune chant and completely block your attack. That's fine with me, sir. You know, that's... Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. And now it's coming back to me. Now, right here, I don't have the best turn. This is just unfortunate. I'm just setting up, and we're swinging at face for 4 plus 4, 4 of which are rune chants. Okay. He hit me for 1 there because I popped a Spectral Shield. Sure, keep him coming. We're just going face, guys. There's nothing stopping this. We're just always going face. If this hits, then it's going to do more, but he ends up fully blocking out. Okay, my opponent's turn. Now I've got a hand over here. They're going to come in for whatever it is. Hey, I'm just slamming down spacebar, right, guys? I'm just slamming the spacebar down. Yep, we're taking it. We're taking okay. All right, you did a bunch of damage. That's nice. All right, my turn. Mordred Tide, Mauvrion Skies, Amplify the Arknight, and actually that would have probably been my entire turn. Oh, and don't forget to pop the Vexing Quill hand. We're coming in for 8 plus 6, and they pass it. They give up the turn. We did decent that game. Average damage was actually surprisingly low. Average damage threatened per turn was around 6.13, but we did have a totally dead turn. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. It was like somewhere around here. No, it wasn't there. It was right... Oh gosh, I can't find it. Was it this turn? I don't remember, guys. It was one of these turns. It was like a totally dead hand. But hey, we were still able to get the job done, and we were able to have a decent game, and we were able to beat a deck in Prism that is a very high level deck, right? Okay, now let's move on to part 2. Okay, so that's your absolute entry level $50 budget deck, right? Now, check this out, guys. This is getting into the $200 range. I'm not going to blast through all these cards again, but I am going to go over the new equipment stuff we're going to start messing with the idea of. Amethyst Tiara. This is good for new players anyway to start understanding how Spell Void works where it's like prevention level, you know, arcane damage for the most part. And if you're building up enough rune chance, you're going to be able to get out of a lot of crazy stuff. You know, like a lot of big Kano attacks and things like that with Spell Void. Because you're turning your rune chance into Spell Void that you can pop. Okay, really good stuff there. And it does prevent the damage. That way they can't have these huge Aether, whatever they're called. I can't remember. Okay, another one we're looking at here is Dyadic Carapace. This card is only around $20, I believe, at the time. I do believe this is a very, very important card for rune chance going forward. Even if you're not planning on playing Viserai, say you're planning on playing Aurora or something like that, Florian or whoever going forward. This is just a very, very powerful generic equipment piece here. Blocks for 2 with Temper and has Arcane Barrier 2. It's just not bad, guys. This is just not a bad card. Let me go ahead and make my picture bigger. We do have one more game we're going to go over after I walk through version 2 here, but you know, at least so you can see my face, my reactions here. Dyadic Carapace, very solid. Also swapping over to Reaping Blade. This is another two-handed weapon. Nebula Blade was also two-handed. Reaping Blade is another two-handed weapon we have access to where it's just a 1-cost steal 3. That's it. And then if a hero has more life than any other hero, they can't gain life. Okay, so that is really nice. Your opponent can't just start gaining past you, and then you can play a little more aggressive style. Just take what you need to, so that way you can give it back in return in an arcane plus physical damage. We got the Suede Hide, the Sutcliffe Suede Hide still, and the Vexing Quill hand. That did not change in the more expensive $200 version list. Now, nothing changed on this front row except Revel in Rune Blood. We got a new card to add to the party, right? This is a 0-cost create 4. That's right, 4 rune chance. Now, there's one stipulation, and it does have go again. There's 2 stipulations actually. If you have first you have to play an attack action card and a non-attack action card before this one. And then, at the beginning of your end phase, you have to destroy all your rune chance. That's why whenever I run Revel in Rune Blood, I do prefer going Reaping Blade because it's just easier to pull off for 1 cost. I can just swing it with my weapon, arsenal my last card potentially, and pop every rune chant that I made. Okay, excuse me. We still got the Rune Flash. I did add a few more cards. I did add Swarming Gloomveil. Let me go ahead and read this real quick, guys. This card is very important, and it is very strong. It is a 0-cost 3/3, like 3 attack, blocks for 3, but check this out. If you've played or created 1 or more auras this turn, Swarming Gloomveil gains Go Again. Remember, guys, every rune chant that we create is an aura. Okay, but check this out. If you've created 2 or more, it gets +1, so it becomes a 0 for 4 with Go Again, and blocks 3, right? And then if you've created a 3rd or more rune chant for the turn, if this hits a hero, they cannot prevent arcane damage from sources you control this turn. Remember how prevention works, right, guys? Excuse me. Arcane Barrier is prevention. If your hero would be dealt arcane damage, you may pay 2 to prevent that damage, okay? So unless I'm misunderstanding that, that is how Swarming Gloomveil works. This is a very, very powerful card to add to our arsenal. One more card we got to check out, guys. Dread Triptych. This is a 3-cost, 4 damage, block for 3, but it pitches for blue, and it's a Rune Blade attack action. Check out what it does. If you've played a non-attack action card this turn, create a rune chant, okay? If you've dealt arcane damage this turn, create a rune chant token. And if Dread Triptych hits, create a Rune Chant token. So this is a potential 3 for 7 that blocks for 3 that just creates Rune Chant tokens like crazy. Now, yes, I am counting those Rune Chant tokens as like the 7 damage that I was saying for this potential 7 damage piece. But think about it like this. If you have a Mordred tied down, now all of a sudden you're actually just, it's like a 3 for math, help me guys. It's a potential 3 for 10. Okay, so this card is a nice addition, and for a newer player, it's nice to have one of these to start messing around with. Okay, now we know what's going on here, guys. This is the $200 version of the list. Let's watch this one in action now, guys. Give me just a second to get set up here. We got a game versus Azalea. Let me go ahead and pause this. The volume is off. Speed is on 2x. We're full screen. We're good to go. Let me go ahead and drop my camera down so we can see my library. And this game, I believe I get to go first. Okay, Amethyst Tiara is not good against Azalea. Okay, it's just not, right? I mean, let's not even go there. So what I have in my hand is not a bad start. I've got a Runeblood Incantation, a Mauvrion Skies, an Amplify, and a Sink Below. I want that Sink Below in my arsenal, so I need to kind of try to play around that concept. So let's see what happens here. Let's see how I go about doing this. Okay, first things first. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play out Mauvrion, and I think I'm just going to play out a Runeblood Incantation, pitching the Amplify, so that way I can get things going that way. Like I said, this Amethyst thing is so annoying. We have to hit spacebar like every single time. Okay, gonna go ahead and create. So what I did there is I played out a Mauvrion just to get into my trash. That's fine, whatever. And it was just a blue one too, by the way. And then I played out Runeblood Incantation. Well, that's going to generate me a Rune Chant for playing out a non-attack action card and then a Runeblade action card, right? So I was able to create a Rune Chant from doing that with Viserai's ability. Now I have Runeblood Incantation going. I could put my Sink Below into my arsenal, and I'm actually pretty good to go. And my opponent didn't get to filter through any cards, so it's like they still had to go first. But I just get this extra step here. They're going to do a Codex of Blood Rot. That's great. These Blood Rot pox are so annoying. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. My throat's out. Throat's drying out. But like I said, guys, they're going to start off like that. They start off with a Read the Glide Path. Okay, so they're opting for 1. Their arrow's going to get +3. And they got a Remorseless. Looks like they traded that out. They're going to trade out the Remorseless here for what happened. No, okay, they're attacking with it. So this is for 8 with Dominate. So right away, I'm actually going to block out fully to the best of my ability here. I'm trying to just determine how I want to do this. Whoops. Did I not do that correctly? I thought I was going to... So, okay, so that was a mistake, guys. I wanted to Sink Below there, but I think I messed something up. I think I should have blocked for 3 with something and then did a Sink Below. That's fine. Oh, well, it is what it is. Okay, so hey, maybe that was next level, right? Maybe that was next level logic, guys. We're like, okay, well, he definitely doesn't have a Sink Below. It's like, haha, but I do, right? We tricked him. We tricked you. Okay, excuse me. So right here, I think they asked to do something back or something. They did a what do you call it? Like an undo, basically. Let's see what happens here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a Swarming Gloom Veil. This is less than ideal. Or did I start off with? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I totally missed it. I did an Arcane Sonata Arcanics. So this is coming in for 4. I have, smashed in for... I have created a Rune Chant from my Incantation, and I've created one from the Sonata Arcanics first going into the Swarming Gloom Veil. So it does have Go Again and +1. Now we're coming in with a Revel in Runeblood to go +6 for the turn. Then I'm going to smash in for Shrill of Skullform. That was for like 7 Rune Chants and then 7 more physical. And I have determined in this... with this build, my best chance is to race my opponent. I'm going to eat the 3 damage from the Blood Rot. Your turn. I still have a Sink Below in hand. They just completely ate that. Like I said, guys, they completely ate that hit. Oh, well, here we go. I said, hey, we're off to the races now, buddy. It's, your damage versus mine. Let's see who flinches first. And that is one thing I do like about the Mauvrion Skies build. Yes, it can get very bricky. He just hit me for 13 damage, guys. I'm not flinching. I'm going down with the ship at this point, right, guys? Whatever they hit me with, I'm going down for it. So 6 Rune Chants coming in with 6 on top of that from Amplify the Arknight. I've got a Shrill in hand. It's actually not great, but I do have a Mauvrion, so I can pitch the Shrill of Skullform to bust him with a Reaping Blade as well after this. Okay, that's coming in. It hits. or excuse me, no, it didn't. He's still blocking out. So now he's going to have to give me something here. He blocked out there, but I've got bad news. I'm coming in for Reaping Blade still. I'm just going to start smashing this dude's face in, right? Like, that is the name of the game here. That Frailty token was insane this turn, man. That saved him like 3 damage. Because I think, or well, at least 2 damage, excuse me. It saved him 2 damage. That was crazy. Okay, but this here is not ideal. I do not have a great turn here. Actually, I think it's decent because of the Rune Blood Incantation, Mordred Mauvrion going into Amplify. I should be able to do it for free. He's coming in for 13. I'm about to get absolutely dotted up over here. Damage over times everywhere. Who knows what. So I'm going to give him the Sink Below. I'm going to give him that Sink Below. And I'm just going to, I think I block out for the Dyadic Carapace as well, or maybe not. I think I actually just forgot, to be honest with you guys. So, okay, we take that. We're down to 9, and I am all gas, no brakes, guys. Remember, this is a $200 version of the deck, guys. So it's like, you know, this can be way better if you, number one, if you're a better player than me. Yeah, right. That's the first step. Just be a better player than me. And then number 2, if you spend a little extra money on this deck, it just gets better and better from here. Okay, so I don't know what just happened. Oh, I think they asked to redo the turn. Sometimes they'll ask for an undo or something. I don't know what just happened. Oh, it just went by really fast. I'm sorry. Hang on, guys. Okay, so I went in for all those rune chants. They blocked out of everything, blocked out of this, blocked out of that, and now they have 1 card left. They're going to arsenal it. I'm going to swing in for 3, pop my rune chants, and now back to my turn, right? I don't know what just happened. Like I said, something happened there, guys. Whatever it is, here we are. So this is a horrible situation where I'm going to have to go in for Arknight, trashing my Shrilla Skull form, coming in for 6, popping all my stuff. Thank goodness I finally got them down to 6 life, or else this would have been a nightmare. I probably would have just lost right here. So he takes that. Whoops, I almost passed my arsenal. Did not want to do that. That was just a mistake, but I got a defense reaction in my arsenal. That might come in very handy versus these dominates, guys, I have to say. That might come in quite handy versus all the dominate. All right, so here we go. They got laced with the Nourisha up there, it looks like. Let's see what happens here. I've got 1. So right now I'm doing the math, right? I'm like, they've got 3 cards in hand. Okay, I've got 1 block on my armor. I've got 4 in my arsenal. Here we go. This is actually perfect where I can completely block out of this by going armor, arsenal, and then a 3 block from hand. So I'm trying to decide. I think the Dread Triptych's probably the best call here. No, well, yeah. I can go Swarming Gloomveil. This is a tough one. I really didn't want to do that. Let's just say that. I really, really did not want to do that. But you do what you got to do. I go ahead and do Reduce to Rune Chant here. I don't even have... excuse me, I don't even have 1 rune chant on the board, so I have to pitch for 1 just to pay for the Reduce to Rune Chant. That felt so terrible, guys. I wish I had played the game a little more patiently and made sure I had a rune chant. But, it is what it is. When you have them up against the ropes, sometimes it's just best to just start swinging. Okay, so right here, I think I'm going to make a mistake. That's my next play is to make a mistake, where I swing for Reaping Blade, and I think I trash the Mauvrion Skies. I really, really wish I had not done this play. Okay, swinging in there, I'm going to arsenal the Shrilla Skull form. It does help out later, but this does demand an answer, right? He gives me a red in the ledger. He has to give me, I don't know what he has in his hand, but he had to give me a red in the ledger. I did get a Reduce to Rune Chant, so this is not the worst case scenario, but this is not ideal, because I need Reduce the Rune Chant in my arsenal. I don't even have a Rune Chant, guys. Like, I don't even have a Rune Chant in place, so I can't even play this Reduce to Rune Chant for free. Okay, they have a red in the ledger right there, guys. Azalea specialization. Excuse me. If red in the ledger hits a hero, they can't play or activate more than 1 action during their next turn. Okay, well, I'm a Rune Blade. So that's not exactly, that's not exactly what I'm going for. That's not exactly what I'm happy about. We don't like that. So dominate here, I am going to have to just give him a rune. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to give him this Reduce to Rune Chant. I'll pass. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna have to pass here and give him the Reduce to Rune Chant by pitching a card from hand. It will probably be, or I could just block for 3. I like that a little bit better, to be honest. So I'm gonna take 2. I can only play 1 action anyway next turn so that was the thing. Now he was able to buff it. Unfortunately, he was able to pump it to 3. So it's a good thing I didn't try to go anything crazier than that. I had already figured out I was only gonna be able to play 1 action next turn. So it's like, okay, let me go ahead and just give him Amplify the Arknight here. Okay, let's see what he does. Okay, just pass. Now, right here, okay, here we go. Red in the ledger. I'm reading it. I'm making sure, because like I said, guys, I am still learning a lot about the game. And I'm like, okay, so I can only play one action. This is really, really bad. I'm in a dire situation. Vexing Malice, though, will require bare minimum 2 cards from hand. Okay? Because notice what that is. I'm going to deal 2, so he has to block out a 1, and then he has to block out of the 1 that it's coming in for. So the Vexing Malice here is actually just insane, right? Like, the Vexing Malice is actually just crazy here. And that's why you see a lot of Rune Blades running this card, because they're used to playing one. Notice there. So, by the way, the Skullborn Cross-Wrap, guys, does have Arcane Barrier. Otherwise, this game would be over, right? Like, if he didn't have Arcane Barrier, this game's just over right here. Okay, so right here, I'm just doing the math. I'm like, Gummit, man, I really want to get this Reduce to Rune chant in my hand, but that's okay, because he has to block out 2 attacks here. He has to pay 1 to deal with the 2 arcane damage. Then he has to block for 1 to deal with the 1 damage coming in from Vexing Malice, or it's over. Okay, he was able to do that with a Fyendal Spring Tunic. I was like, crap, okay, I forgot about that. That was less than ideal. How are we going to deal with this now? How are we going to dig ourselves out of this hole? And I'm basically banking on him not having enough in his hand. It's like, I've got 3 life left. What does he have in hand? I'm hoping he gets a whiff, and whatever he gets, he gets. So he knocks the Death Whistle here. He is going to pause, search your deck for an arrow card, reveal it, then shuffle your deck and put it on top of your deck. Reload. If you have no cards in your arsenal, you may put a card from your hand face down into your arsenal and go again. That's a pitch for 3, block 3, range action, Azalea specialty. That card is nice. He gets a Remorseless. Okay. This is less than ideal. Again, if I had Reduced to Rune Chant in my actual arsenal here, and if I had a Rune Chant in play, that would have changed everything. But I literally couldn't even do that because of whatchamacallit last turn, the red in the ledger. Okay, Remorselessness. He's got Dominate. I'm going to have to give him a 4 here. I'm going to have to give him Reduce to Rune Chant, which is going to cost me a card from my hand. I'm going to go like this, go like that, boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then here we go. Reduce to Rune Chant. It did create a Rune Chant for me, which is massive. That is actually crazier than it sounds, because now I can go Rune Flash into my Reaping Blade. Okay, and that can set up something for next turn. So right here, Rune Flash only costs 2 because I have 1 Rune Blade, or 1 Rune Chant, okay? I can pitch for 3. I'm doing the math in my head right now. Swing for 3, or excuse me, swing for 4, which is a break point. I'm like, wait, did I do that right? Yep. So swing for 4, 1 damage coming in Arcane right now. So 1 point of Arcane damage is coming in currently, right now, and let's see what happens here. Okay, he has to pay that, so there's a Lace with Inertia. Now I'm coming in for 4. So he's going to have to give me a 3 block and probably his helmet, right? Like, I don't think he has any other choice here. And I don't know if he realizes or not, but I'm coming in for a Reaping Blade after this as well. I don't know if he's done the math on that or not yet, but that is what's happening next. Okay, so we're just waiting on my opponent to make a turn here. Lace with Inertia is what that's what they paid with. Cross Wrap and Bolt and Shot. Now watch this, guys. I'm going to swing for 3. I have to hit spacebar. Sorry, guys. I'm doing nothing. I'm just wasting time currently trying to figure out how this game works, or how this, how Talishar works. Coming in for 3, bud. Do you have a 3 block, or else you have to give me your whole hand? Okay, what has he got? I'm looking at his graveyard right now. He blocks for 4. He gives me 2 blocks. Oh, man. That was a bad turn to get that. Now he has to just pass, and I've got a Vexing Malice in hand. The game's over. I'm literally shaking my head at this point of the game. Like, when I was actually playing, I was like, wait a minute, what? How in the world am I going to pull this off? It's 1-1. Incredible game to my opponent. Like I said, this is a deck list that is only getting better and better over time as you upgrade it more and more and put more and more better cards in there. GG to this person. That one was a little better. That game I averaged 8.25 damage per turn. Not bad. Not too bad. And again, I am still, getting back into the game. It's been a while since I played like this. All right, well, that was it for the games. Now we're going to check out one more thing back on February. We're going to check out version 3.0. We're going to talk about some cards to take the deck to the whole next level, right? Let me make my head a little bit smaller over here. There we go. So there are some cards to look at to help your deck out. We'll go through all of the equipment, and then we'll check out some of the cards in the deck. I will take my time on the equipment slots, just like I did before, and then I will kind of blast through the cards that are just, the attack actions and action cards. So Arcane Lantern, this is just a nice offhand to have that you might want to include in your deck list. Arcanite Skullcap, Arcane Barrier 3, has, it has Battle Worn, has block. This card's very solid. Balance of Justice. This is a little bit pricier, But this is becoming a card that is just extremely, extremely good. It has Guardwell. When the combat chain closes, if this defends, put a -1 counter on it equal to its block. Okay, so this card, very strong. The instant is what makes it really crazy. Instant, destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if an opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Could be something there, could be something to look at. Bloodied Oval, this is another great offhand. It's just an extra block here. Bloody Oval's block is equal to the number of opposing heroes with greater health than you. So as long as, as long as you have less health than your opponent, you can block for 1. Okay? Crown of Providence, you see this in quite a few different decks. This is just an incredibly powerful generic headpiece. You'll see this all over the place. I guess I can make my camera a little bit bigger. This blocks for 2 with Blade Break, so you can only block with it once. But check out what it does. When this defends, you may put a card from your hand or arsenal on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, draw a card. So this is very good. This would have been very good in that situation where I had Shrill Skullform stuck in my arsenal. That would have been a very good card to have, and it's a block for 2, which is very nice. Find All Spring Tunic. A lot of players run this. Like most decks can run this, but it's really good in Viserai as well because it gives you that extra point. Unless you have to be more defensive, then you can run the Dyadic Carapace. But Find All Spring Tunic, getting that 1 extra point is just massive. It's just so massive. Grasp of the Arknight. This is just a way to create rune chants whenever you don't have any. You pay 2, create a rune chant token, and this ability costs an additional 1 to activate for each rune chant that you control, and then you get to go again. And it has Battle Worn blocking for 2. It's just incredible. But again, this card is really nice. Sometimes I like Vexing Quillhand better. First of all, it does have Arcane Barrier on it, so that is one advantage. But sometimes I like Vexing Quillhand just better because I can just pop it for 3 immediately whenever I drop a Mordred Tide. So it's like Mordred Tide, make 3 rune chants. Now I can just straight up play an Amplify straight from hand and just start this whole entire, start the party, right? Especially if I have a Mordred Tide, a Mauvrion Skies to line up with it. Okay, Scepter of Pain. This is something to look at if you get into the more Turtle Burst versions of Viserai. This card is just extremely effective at just So, okay, understand how rune chants break. It is an aura with when you play an attack action card or attack with a weapon. Scepter of Pain is not attacking. You're just once per turn doing an action, paying 2 to deal 1 arcane damage to any opposing target, and then you get to create a rune chant token for each damage dealt this way. So that's actually very nice. That's actually very, very helpful. Okay, so this is very solid. Spellbound Creepers. Pause and read this if you don't know what this does. I'm not going to take the time to explain it. I barely even understand it, to be honest with you. But essentially, you're going to be able to turn something instant speed. You're going to be able to make a normal a normal action instant, like with the speed, which can allow you to get go again and things like that. It can really, really spice up the deck. Again, you'll have to look up an entire video on this, guys. This is a very, very complicated interaction, and these boots are pretty expensive, unfortunately. Okay, now let's look at a few cards here. Arknight Ascendancy. This is kind of the popper for when you're running, when you're running Turtle Burst. If you're trying to build up a bunch of runes, this is the way to go because it's going to be free. It's going to have Dominate, and you're going to buff it up with cards like where a Slogism at. Okay, it's like in red, yellow, blue order. So Element OP, QR, S. Here we go. It's an alphabetical order. We got there. For 3, you're going to give it +6. This has go again, and it's a non-rune blade. Excuse me, it's a non-attack action, so it's going to create another rune chant. Your Arknight Ascendancy is going to come in massive here when you play it. This is going to create the rune chant after you did Slogism first and swing in with this. It's massive. The Quest of the Vast Beyond is interesting. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a zero cost go again rune blade action. Viserai specialization. The next rune blade attack action card you play this turn costs 1 less to play for each rune chant you control. So you can combo that with cards like Ninth Blade of the Blood Oath and get double the effect, if I'm not mistaken. Ninth Blade of the Blood Oath costs 1 less for each rune chant you control. So if you've got like 4, right? Or let's just say you have 5. Let's say you have 5 rune chants down, right? Well, okay, you still need to pay 4 for this effect, right? Well, if you have the Quest of the Vast Beyond, number 1, it is a non-attack action with go again, so you'll be able to play this down, and the next attack or the next rune blade action you play this turn, you'll get a rune chant. But check this out: the next rune blade attack action you play this turn costs 1 less to play for each rune chant you control, so you'll be able to play out the Ninth Blade for free if you have 5 already and combo with this. Blanche is going around right now. I think a lot of people are messing with this. I don't know how good it is in Viserai. I don't know how realistic it is in Viserai. That's a better way for me to say this. Maybe the 3 for 4 one, like maybe the blue one, because it's only a block too. Like we're already struggling, guys. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we double down at this point as Viserai, especially the versions I showed today for the Mauvrion Skies version. But having that block for 2 in here, probably, I don't know if we can get away with it. Blessing of the Occult, this is just good for setting up Turtle Burst. Censor is an interesting card that I want to play more of. I love that art, and I think this card's so sick. It's a 1 for 5 that blocks for 3, so that is like a perfectly on-rate card for what it does. And then it also has this... Because, guys, one thing I do want to talk about sometime is value in this game. For example, a 0-cost attack action generic should be able to hit for 4 and block for 3 if it's just vanilla, like it has no effect. Well, a 1 should hit for 5 and block for 3. Well, Censor kind of already does that, right? Like that's kind of already thing. I'll talk about value at another time, guys. I'm sorry if I butchered that, if it was clumsy. Just bear with me. I'll deal with that later. I said bear with me like 20 times in this video already. Sorry. All right. I was going to say bear with me, but no. So Censor is incredible. Command and Conquer if you can afford it or if you already have them. I have seen Viserai lists run Command and Conquer. It's just a good card. You know, it's just a good card when you just have to have a 2 for 6, right? Like 2 cards, 6 damage turn, and it can pop an arsenal, and it blocks for 3. I mean, there's really no downside to this card. The only thing that's a downside to it in this deck is it's not going to create a rune chant for us. Oh, well, you know. Consuming Volition, it's good to have Disruption. This is, okay, if you have dealt or deal arcane damage this turn, Consuming Volition gains. If this hits a hero, they discard a card. It's a 1 for 4, but it does block for 3. It is a Rune Blade attack action, and it can cause them to discard a card, and it's at a break point. So essentially, you're going to get to hit them for 2 cards from hand, right? Either they're going to block for 3, and they have to discard a card, so they lose 2 cards, or, you know, they block for 5 or 6 and fully get out of it, and then they don't have to discard a card, but they only have 2 cards left, right? That's the idea, at least. Unless they have defense reactions, obviously, you know, obviously, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, I think the card's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of it. I am a big fan of hand disruption, but I'm not a huge fan of how this card is set up, how you do have to deal with the arcane damage first. I almost wish it was the other way around. I wish that Rune Blades, miniature rant real quick, guys. This is like a mini rant. I wish that Rune Blade attacks always punished by giving you more rune chance. So in other words, I don't care about hitting their hand as much. I actually want to make it where, like, okay, if this hits, like Mauvrion Skies, okay, if this hits, create 3 rune chance. And then your opponents, all of a sudden, they're going to be like, oh, man, that's just, you know, wiping the sweat from their brow. Like, that sounds crazy. I better block out. It's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want them to respect my attacks. But sometimes they just take it because it's only going to create 1 rune chant, unless you have a Mauvrion Skies down already. Then it can get out of control. Anyway, all right, next up is Down and Dirty. This is just a really interesting card because you can play it from the arsenal, or you can defend with it from arsenal. It's a 2-cost deal 6 that blocks 3. But again, while Down and Dirty is in your arsenal, you may defend with it. So you can actually defend with this from your arsenal, which is very rare. Okay, and like I said, it's a 2 for 6. So it's like a poor man's version of a Command and Conquer almost. And it's kind of an inverse effect. Instead of attacking their arsenal, you're getting extra value from your arsenal. Whatever. Drowning Dire, this is another, you know, hand, or how do I say this? Okay, if you have played or created an aura this turn, Drowning Dire gains Dominate. When Drowning Dire hits, you may put a non-attack action card from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. So it's not really disruption, it's just a way to squeeze through damage, which is good to combo with something like a Mauvrion Skies. But, you know, it's a 2 for 5. Excuse me, it does block for 3, it does have Dominate, so it is fine. This is a very good card to look into. I'm not going to spend too much time on all these guys. I'm just going to try and whip through it here. And guys, if you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. Next up is Enlightened Strike. This is just a good card. I haven't seen this going around much in any kind of Rune Blade decks, but it still is a very strong card. I just have to say that. It just is. It's just a good card. Erase Face. This is a 2-cost 6/2. When Erase Face hits, hits a hero. Cards and tokens they own lose all class and talent types until the end of their next turn. I've seen this before in Viserai decks, but I'm not a huge fan of it myself. Fate Foreseen, incredible defensive tool. Find Allspring Tunic. This is a nice way to pop cards and potentially gain life. It's a 3 for 7 block. It only blocks for 2 though, but this would be used more for like against like Prism or something like that. But I'm going to be honest. If you're running the Mauvrion Skies version, I don't think Prism's that hard of a. I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy matchup, but I think Prism's one of our better matchups for the Mauvrion Skies version of the deck. For Turtle Burst, this is probably insane, right? But if you're trying to be more aggressive and just go Mauvrion Skies, go non-attack action into attack action, I don't know. I actually like our matchup into things like that. Even I remember even playing against Dromai before she LL'd, back when I still had the back when I still had the Rosetta Thorn, and I thought it was like a decent matchup. I know people might think I'm crazy. I don't know, but like I said, I was just going face because any damage that goes through, oh well, you know, it is what it is. Okay, Oasis Respite. Just a great, this is a really great generic instant prevention effect. Gain 4, prevent the next 4 damage for 1. It costs 1 to prevent 4, and you get to gain a life. Okay, or you may gain a line. If they have less life than each other hero, they may gain 1. Did I read that right? Prevent the next 4 damage that would be dealt to target hero this turn by a source of your choice. If they have less life than each other hero, they gain 1. So you prevent 4, and then you gain 1 if you have less life. Oath of the Arknight, this is good for setting up Turtle Burst, just really solid. It gives +3, creates a rune chant, go again. It's fine for that. Pummel is just incredible. Target attack action cards with cost 2 or greater gain +4, and if they hit target hero, or excuse me, the defending hero discards a card. This card is bonkers, right? This card's absolutely nuts. Read the runes. This is great for setting up turns for the Turtle Burst version. Runic Reckoning. It's a 1 cost, blocks for 3, go again. This costs 1 less for each rune chain you control. And the next Runeblade attack action card I'm talking too fast. The next Runeblade attack action card you play this turn gets +3 physical attack, go again. Okay? Runic Reclamation is another really good popper because it's a 7. Okay, Runic Reclamation is a 3, deal 7, block for 3. When Runic Reclamation hits a hero, destroy target aura they control. If you do, create a Rune Chant token. Okay, so I believe a lot of the things that Prism makes are auras, so this card might be pretty solid into that matchup. It might help out quite a bit, and it's coming across for 7, which is it's like the double break point, however you want to say that. Really good card. Sigil of Suffering. Great defensive reaction here, because you can deal 1 arcane damage to attacking hero, and if they chose to take it, if you've dealt arcane damage this turn, it gets +1 defense, so it's a 0 for 4 that hit them for 1. 5 points worth of value there. Slogism, we talked about a little bit. Pause this, read it. It's basically, this is a 3 cost +6 to a 2 cost or greater attack action. So really good. Sonata Galaxia. It costs XX, just like Sonata. The others, oh gosh, what's the other one called? I always forget. Sonata Arcanix. So it's just like that one where it costs XX. This costs 1 less to play, though, for each rune chain you control. Search your deck for a Runeblade Aura with cost X or less. Put into the arena, then shuffle. If X is 2 or more, this gets go again. So it's a way to find other rune chants. It's not bad. It's not a bad card at all, but it's more for setting up things like Looming Doom and even the incantation, the Runeblood incantation. Unmovable, just an absolutely incredible defensive reaction card. Blocks for 7 or 8 out of the arsenal. This card is massive. I've seen this go around in quite a few different Runeblood decks. Ninth Blade, just a great finisher for the Turtle Burst version. Now, here's a card that's very interesting to me, the Prismatic Leyline. This is a 0 cost, go again, blocks for 3. It's a yellow pitch. This card is actually very strong for what we're trying to do, guys, because sometimes we don't get our red attack. Well, guess what? We can start our blue attacks with this, and now, so Shrilla Skullform is a 2 for 5 blue. Well, if we start off with this, it'll be a 2 for 8 and technically 2 for 9 because we'll create a rune chant for the following, action. So it's like this card is very strong, guys. This card is very, very strong. And if we have multiple attacks for the turn, like if we arsenal this and then pull it out later for a super big turn where we go like 2 attacks wide, pretty insane, guys, or at least potentially very insane. Runeblood Barrier. This is nice for getting defensive stuff or creating rune chants. This card's solid. That all you got. This is a 0 cost, block for 3, and while this is defending an attack with 2 or less physical, when the combat chain closes, you get to draw a card. Arknight Shard, this card's absolutely incredible as well. Think about your Mordred Tide turns, like all of a sudden you're creating 2 from this. This card, this is something I've been chasing for a while. For those who are not aware, I will get it one day, hopefully. If it ever goes down in price or if I can ever trade cards for it, I will get this eventually. That is my dream. That is my goal. Looming Doom. But guys, it is part of my journey, okay? It is part of my journey in this game to get this card one day. Unless it becomes so, like, astronomical price-wise where it's just, like, unattainable unless you're a collector. That's not what I care about. But I want to get this card one day. I want it in my Viserai deck. I think the card is so good. Pitch for 3, and it creates a rune chant. I just need the one. We'll get it eventually. Looming Doom, I actually love this idea. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I think it was my last video on Viserai. I like this idea of like just putting down a bunch of damage over time, like the Blood Rot Pox tokens or whatever they're called, the Blood Rot Pox. I love that idea of just like, you know, just hurting your opponent, just slowly bleeding them out of the game, putting like a damage over time, like corruption on them in this case. Really good. Ripple Away, pay 2 to deal 4, block 3, but this is really meant for the instant. Instant, discard this. If an action card would create 1 or more tokens this turn, instead it creates that many -1 of each of those tokens. So it can help slow down token stuff. I don't know. I've seen this in a few lists. It's just like a tech card. Sift is really good. It's a 0 block for 3. Go again. Put up to 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw that many cards. This card is actually really, really good for setting up really dead hands for Viserai. Every now and then you just get it's just a rune blade, you know, hand. I don't know how to say it. You get a rune blade hand. They call them like rune blade hands. I've heard them say for other classes as well. But every now and then you just get a rune blade hand where it's like, oh, okay, this is just all attacks or all non-attack actions. And I'm just dead, right? Well, Sift can allow you to actually help that. It is a 0 cost generic action with Go Again, and it blocks for 3, and this one's the blue version. So this is actually a very strong setup card for us. Sonata Phantasmia, pay XX, blocks for 3, blue, pitch for 3, create X Runechant tokens, and if X is 6 or greater, target hero discards 3 random cards. It's interesting, and I have seen this in a few lists, but I'm not a huge fan of it. And then Warmonger's Diplomacy. Warmonger's Diplomacy I've seen. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at 2 lists after this, guys, for the final part of the video. This is like one of those cards. It's very expensive right now, unfortunately. But this card right here is very good at shutting certain decks down. And I would say one of them is us, right? It actually shuts down a deck like ours, where it's like, oh crap, we're trying to go Mauvrion into an attack and into a Mauvrion into an attack. You don't get to do all that. So this card is very good. Pause and read it if you don't know what it does. Okay, guys, we got one more part of the video. We're going to check out 2 lists that have actually done very well. This is a second place list from April 27th, this year, 2024. And check this out, guys. I'm just going to blast through this, and we're going to talk about it afterwards. Arcane Lantern, Skullcap, Balance, Bloodied Oval, Dyadic Carapace, Find All, Spring Tunic, Grasp, Reaping Blade, Scepter of Pain, Spellbound Creepers, Vexing Quill Hand. Okay, not even running the Grasp. No, it is. It's running both. It's running Grasp and Vexing, probably for the Arcane Barrier. Amplify the Arknight, Blessing of Occult, Down and Dirty. Let me do these with the numbers. So 3 amps, 3 Blessing of Occult, 2 Down and Dirty, 3 Fate Foreseen, 3 Mordred Tide, 3 Oath of the Arknight. So you see what's going on here right away, right, guys? This is obviously trying to bust out these 9th Blade of the Blood Oaths and just go crazy with, like, Turtle Burst damage. We'll talk about it in a second. 2 Rattlebones, 3 Read the Runes, 3 Reduce to Runechant, 3 Rune Blood Incantations, 3 Sigil of Suffering, 3 Sink Belows, 3 Sonata Galaxia, 3 Unmovable, 3 9th Blade of the Blood Oath, 3 Reduce to Runechant, 3 Rune Blood Barrier, 3 Is That All You Got? 1 Arknight Shard, 3 Become the Arknight, 1 Looming Doom, 1 Ripple Away, 3 Sift, 2 Sonata Phantasmia. I need to get this card. I don't think I have this card yet. 3 Vexing Malice, and 3 Warmonger's Diplomacy. So the version that is more geared towards like creating tons and tons of rune chants and then just popping your opponent at one time, they don't care about Warmonger's Diplomacy. In fact, it just kind of helps them out, slow down other decks. Because they're just going to play a bunch of cards like this. Like I'm going to go Blessing of the Cold, or I'm going to go Rattlebones and to Read the Runes or something, or, something along those lines. I'm going to sit on a Reduce to Runechant. I'm going to bust out my Rune Blood Incantations. They'll play out the Rune Blood Barriers. And I wonder... never mind. I was going to say... Never mind. I had a thought there. I might deal with it some other time. I might make an idea of it later. But Sonata Galaxia is a new card that came out in, Heavy Hitters. It is an XX, and it costs 1 less to play for each rune chant you control. So when you're at like 10 rune chants, okay, you're going to be able to search up anything that costs 5 or less. You know what I mean? With cost 5 or less, put into the arena, then shuffle. Well, that's like everything, right? So you're going to be able to search up these cards right here. Where's, there it is. You'll be able to snag your Looming Doom right away. You'll be able to grab your, this is an aura as well, by the way. You could technically grab this. There's one other one, here it is, Rune Blood Incantation. You'll be able to snag these and just get them straight into play so you can start getting as many rune chants down as possible, clearing out your deck of them, and just going about it that way. And then you build up all of your rune chants and pop them for like 50 in one turn with like 9th Blade of the Blood Oath and everything you can attach to it. A card that I actually like quite a bit, and I'm surprised they're not running it, is the Arknight Ascendancy. Because Arknight Ascendancy is Dominate, and, think about it like this. If they could just block this for 3 cards from hand, like 3, 6, 9, Well, then 5 is stronger than that if they can only block it for 3. I mean, even if they could block it with a defensive reaction, that's still only like, you know, it still does more damage technically. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Whatever the case is, 9th Blade of the Blood Oath works just fine. Okay, then we're looking at one more list, and again, this was second place at a classic constructed back this was at Battle Hardened Valencia, April 27th, 2024. And then we're looking at Adam Cook's list right here. This was in April 14th, 2024 for ProQuest Season 5, Classic Constructed. I don't know where this one was, but it was a first place list. So check it out. It's running the Amethyst, it's running the Lantern, Balance, Bloodied Oval, Crown of Providence, Static Carapace, Find Offspring Tunic, Grasp, Reaping Blade, Scepter of Pain, Spellbound Creepers. Now, for these cards here, 3 Amplify the Arknight, 3 Arknight Ascendancy, I like that a lot, 3 Blessing of Occult, 1 Down and Dirty, 1 Fate Foreseen, 1 Mauvrion, that's interesting, just a single Mauvrion red, 3 Mordred Tides, 2 Oasis Respites, 1 Pummel, 3 Rattlebones, 3 Read the Runes, 3 Reduce to Rune Chant, 3 Rune Blood Incantations, 3 Runic Reckonings, 3 Runic Reclamations, just all the rune stuff, right? 3 Sink Belows, 3 Slogism. This makes sense running it with Arknight Ascendancy. 2 Sonata Galaxias, 1 Unmovable, 3 9th Blade of the Blood Oath, 2 Rune Blood Barriers, just in case you have to save yourself pretty much. You know what I mean? If you have to, like, survive here, it does help out, right? And I wonder if there's a way... So I wonder if there's a way to play this out and then just, like, get rid of it immediately. Like, destroy the aura, and then you can, like, just keep the 4 rune chants. You know what I mean? Let me see something with Spellbound Creepers. Oh, gosh, that's too small to read. I'll have to mess with that idea later. If someone knows what I'm talking about, if they're just like... excuse me, if they have an idea of what I'm talking about, you know, just say it in the comment section below. Because what I'm trying to say is I wonder if there's a way to just get this off. Because at the beginning of your action phase, you can destroy Rune Blood Barrier. So I'm wondering if you could do this at the end of their turn through Spellbound Creepers. Let me, I got to read Spellbound Creepers real quick. Okay. Once per turn instant, put a bind counter on Spellbound Creepers. You may play your next... Oh, no, okay. You have to play a non-attack action card this turn as... Wait. Okay, hang on. Never mind. Put a bind counter on Spellbound Creepers. You may play your next non-attack action card this turn as though it were an instant. Activate this ability only if you have attacked or defended with an attack action card this turn. At the beginning of your end phase, destroy Spellbound Creepers unless you have dealt arcane damage this turn equal to or greater than the number of bind counters on Spellbound Creepers. So, I guess my question is this. With the barrier, where's the barrier at? You guys tell me if this is legal or not. This is a non-attack action card. It's a Runeblade action aura. So if I have this in my hand, if I wanted to, I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to do this, could I... And let me see some. You do have to defend. Activate this ability only if you have attacked or defended with an attack action card this turn. So let's say I blocked out with, where's 9th Blade of the Blood Oath? Okay, so let's say I blocked with this, right? Well, now can I pay 1 and then play this with my my Spellbound Creepers? And then I'll search my deck for a Runeblade Aura that costs X or less, put into the arena, then shuffle. And let's just say I have like 20-something rune chants, right, where I have tons of rune chants. Then I can just cheat in the Rune Blood Barrier and get the 4 rune chants from that. And then at my action phase, it'll just pop. So then I don't have to worry about losing the rune chants. I think I'm understanding that correctly. I know that's very technical, but it sounds really cool if that is the case. Or like I said, maybe there's another instance where I could just play this out to block massive amounts of damage if I need to save myself. Anyway, guys, this is one of the craziest cards I've ever seen in a TCG. The things you're able to do with it, it allows for so many very interesting interactions. But I don't want to say anything that's like off. So bear with me. Okay, so where were we? We went through all this. 9th Blade of the Blood Oath, Rune Blood Barrier, 2 blue Amplify the Arknight, 1 Arknight Shard, 3 Becoming the Arknight, 2 Dread Triptych, 3 Looming Dooms. I like that a lot because I do want to mess around with this card. 2 Ripple Away, 3 Vexing Mouse, and 3 Warmonger's Diplomacy. Well, there you go, guys. As far as what's been doing well for Viserai lately, it has not been the Mauvrion Skies version like I like and like I showed to build in this. Let's go back to my my very first version here. Like with this build right here, guys, it does not, how do I say this? This build is probably considered a little bit outdated, but I have to say this. Playing Turtle Burst is really not the same way you play Flesh and Blood you know, compared to other classes. And that's not a bad thing. That, you know, I'm not saying there's only one way to play the game. I'm not saying that at all. But it is a very different style of playing the game. Whereas, like, playing like this, there's a lot more interaction where it's like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to attack you. I'm going to attack. And then as you get better and better at Viserai, or as you play it more and more, maybe swap over to Turtle Burst and see if it's your thing. It might be something you really, really like to do. But the last thing I do want to mention is something, one thing that I really want to focus on moving forward with Viserai, because I'm still trying to push this leader into the competitive zone, right? Like, that is something I want to do. I want to make this leader extremely good. And some things I am going to be sticking with Mauvrion Skies. That's just me. That's just my play style, right? Not saying Turtle Burst is bad, and I'm not saying there's not another option there potentially in the near future. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe we'll get some brand new cards from Rosetta that allow us to build it in a totally different way. But for the time being, I have to say, guys, Gorganian Tome, Sift, and that new Prismatic Leyline. Let me go to that card real quick, actually, guys. Y'all bear with me. There I go again. Bear with me. Where's Prismatic Leyline? Yellow. Here it is. I think these cards are really interesting, and they're going to allow you to do a lot of stuff. I think it just needs to be experimented with more and more. Okay? I'm done. My voice is completely dried out. I've had enough. I'm tapping out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. If I missed something, if I messed something up, please put it down there. I'll have everything time-stamped, of course, in the general description. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And don't worry, I'm not going to only make Viserai content, but this was something I wanted to show off. I wanted to show how, like, one thing that I'm probably going to gear towards, this is just me, guys. I will probably be making a lot of budget decks in the future. I think that is something I'll probably be known for on this channel, is making videos like this that are highly, what's the word? They're very beginner friendly, but they also push the boundaries of, like, becoming a good player, even if you don't have a deck that, you know, runs for $1,000. I like making lists that are very budget friendly and help new players get into the game and stay in the game. You know what I mean? And because that's a big thing, is player retention. It's one thing to entice new players. I did a whole video on this already too. It's one thing to entice new players with these really cool new cards. Look at the art on this card, guys. Look how good this art is. The art's so incredible. But it's a whole nother thing to entice new players and then to retain them, right? The retention levels is what I think, you know, can always be improved on. Okay, now I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed that, guys. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, like I said already, and hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, guys, peace.